introduction to cloud computing. See, in this particular session, my focus is going to be on understanding what cloud computing is from the very basic angle. I'm not interested in focusing on Azure or AWS or GCP or any other cloud for that matter. General terms are what we want to discuss. Yes, we are going to discuss first about what is cloud computing, the misconception many people have, which I'll clarify over here. The right word cloud computing we have to understand. Then we will get to understanding what are the different cloud characteristics. How can somebody call their infrastructure as cloud infrastructure? That is what we are going to understand there. The very important topic, cloud computing service models, where we are going to discuss about what is infrastructure as a service, what is platform as a service, and so on, and deployment models, advantages, disadvantages, job roles, and a very brief about the various certifications. But to begin with, what is cloud computing? See, cloud and cloud computing are two different things. Of course, they are related, but cloud is just a metaphor for internet. When we are talking about internet, we can actually say we are talking about cloud, at least in today's context. It's all interconnected computers which are existing in the cloud. So if you are doing internet, you are actually already doing cloud. But what is cloud computing? This is supposed to be looked at from the developer's angle. This is supposed to be looked at from the administrator's angle. See, ultimately, IT industry is all about we automating things, we building applications. And every application has two things. One is the program and the other is the data which flows through the program. The program is given some input, it generates certain output. Now, for these programs, we need certain computing power. Now, what do I mean by this computing power? We have processor, we have got memory. All this is computing power. And in addition to the computing power, we need the storage, something like hard disk. So this computing power is provided through computers, and these computers can be the local computers, which are your desktop laptops, or they can be the computers which are connected to the LAN, where there is one server or multiple servers which are providing various services. So basically, organizations started creating their own network where they interconnected computers and started sharing data, started sharing applications. In general, I can say started sharing resources. But then everything was confined to that particular organization only. We wanted all these things to be exposed to many organizations. We wanted the resources to be shared by many organizations. So the whole thing moved on to, with the basic hardware, these people started constructing virtual machines. But basically they started doing virtualization, where multiple computing or multiple computers connect to each other and provide the complete power as different units based on the requirement. So a on-premise data center would have lots of computers connected. With virtualization, on top of it, we create multiple virtual machines. I'm going to discuss about virtual machines much in detail later, but rather than giving individuals PCs which are very high configuration, organizations moved on to infrastructure where they have a very basic PC and all their application development and all their data would reside in a centralized location where different virtual machines are created. That means the data center became huge, and then the management of data center comes into the picture, and so on and on. Now we are talking about a scenario where all this computing power, the data centers which organizations maintained in their on-premise, now they want to move on to internet. They want to migrate their data and their application from their on-premise environment into some public internet. That means there has to be some vendor, some service provider who is going to provide the infrastructure. So the service provider who provides the infrastructure will be very massive, will be a very large organization who is going to now give all these things as services. So the computing power not only the software, but the computing power is now going to be available to us in the form of service. That means now there exists organization which are responsible for providing you virtual machines as a service, which are responsible for providing you a network as a service, and so many other things are going to be provided to you within a given organization as a service. So cloud computing is what now? Precisely, in simplest term, cloud computing basically means storing and accessing data and programs over internet rather than making them available through local LAN. We are now saying that they are going to become available through internet, and we don't want to depend only on the local hard drive. So cloud is internet. Moving the computing power from on-premise into cloud, that means into internet, is cloud computing. The practice of using network of remote servers. This is the definition from Google. The practice of using network of remote servers. That means your server is not in your local environment. It is on a remote location. Hosted on the internet. For what purpose? To store, manage and process data. Basically your applications are moved rather than local server or personal computer is what is cloud computing all about. So first, very important thing, you should clearly understand the term cloud and cloud computing. Cloud is just a metaphor for internet. Cloud computing is ability of using internet for our applications rather than depending on the local server or personal computer. Then you can find many definitions on a similar line. You can say cloud computing is a type of internet based computing where the services like servers, storage, applications all are delivered to the organization computer through internet. Cloud computing refers to variety of services. So it's like all things have moved from product based to services based. See, industry earlier was completely product based. Actually, if you think of, you can only buy or sell two things in this world. If I want to buy something or if I want to sell something, there can be only two things: services and product. Everything you buy will either fall into service category or into product category. So if at all it is a product, I completely own it. Let's say I buy a laptop. Now I own the laptop. After I own the laptop, I take care of the laptop. I have to take care of properly maintaining it. I have to ensure that it is properly, regularly upgraded. All the configuration. I can take my laptop and throw from third floor. Nobody will stop me. I own the laptop. I take complete ownership of the laptop. But in other words, the problem with this ownership is tomorrow a better version comes. I cannot simply upgrade this. I'll have to probably dispose this and buy a new one. The cost is more. And because I take care of the ownership, advantage is I completely have the responsibility of putting whatever I want and it is very secured on it.